Hey, everyone, part of the Patreon podcast where you, the Patreon members, you get the host for a while, and you're the host, and I'm all here for you. So, who we got here today?
My name is Chris Porton. I've been a fan of yours, gosh, 20 since the late '90s or so, early 2000. Like I just mentioned to you, I remember your Irving Plaza show, December 8th, the year 2000, with the band Rock and Roll Comedy. It was a big O&A event, as you probably remember as well. They were up in the Raptors, band and everything. That was one of the most coolest experiences of my life.
Wow. See, now you're the second Patreon member that brought that up. He wasn't there, but he had the DVD that I filmed
Yeah.
that night, because I filmed that night, and he's like, "Hey, I got this heavy metal DVD," and I told the whole story of that. Was a really an amazing night, but I gotta say too, I was not prepared for that night. I was not. I didn't do stand up in a really long time, because I was filming this movie called One Eye Kings, which nobody knows about. Um, and even that was, yeah, I was up in Montreal freezing my ass off, and by the time we got back to New York, I'm like, I got 1 week to prep for a 1 hour comedy special that I don't know have any material for.
I wouldn't have known.
But
Great show.
it was a great event. I mean, I crowd surfed at the end. That
Mhm.
was sick. The whole night was really, really cool. I think, was it Rich Voss? I think Rich Voss might have opened. Um,
Probably.
I know O&A brought me up at the time, and O&A back then were like
I'm fine.
rock stars. They were rock stars. They were
Oh, totally.
huge. Wow. So yeah, you go way back. That was 99, I think. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure. Yeah, wow. That's insane.
99, 2000 or so. I lived in near New Brunswick area, near the Stress Factory. So I was listening to O&A all the time on the radio, 1027, as you probably remember. And then I'd see you often at the Stress Factory whenever
Yeah,
you.
as a matter of fact, I was doing because I just moved to New Jersey in '99. I
Okay.
moved to Chester, New Jersey, and I would go to the Stress Factory, and I think I would charge $10 at the door. And I did that for about 6 to 8 straight weeks on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and they were always packed, always sold out. I was like, I'm just trying stuff out, but that was a really fun period for me, because I'd go out and I'd just tell stories. It was wow, you were right there in the beginning of a
Oh,
huge evolution for me.
totally. And I actually remember too, I think you might have done one or two shows at the Stress Factory with a dude on guitar.
Yes. Wow. Holy crow. Yes. I bring along this guy, Paul Bond,
Yep, I
and
remember Paul.
and Paul would I'd and you know what, he was by far the best one, because I'd say, Paul, I'm not sure where I'm going, but just try to go with me, and try to set the tone. And he made it so much fun, and he was really good at what he was doing. And then later, we ended up uh, going on a comedy tour, and then we filmed the my comedy special Hardcore, which
Right.
was on Comedy Central, and people like, oh, that's with the hokey pokey and all that. And Paul was in the back with my friend Shaka, who does podcasts with me now, and my friend Larry, who used to do a radio show with me, and then me, Paul, and all that. And then we went on a tour with a bus, and wow, yeah, those were great memories. And then
It is.
after that, yeah,
It's just cool just to go back and to think about, oh yeah, we were all in this room together. There's no other thought in the world. And it's like now with a contrast 22 years ago in a sense. But it is
yes, yes, yeah. I have a hard time looking at myself at that Irvine Plaza event. I'm like, oh
really.
my god, yeah. I'm like, oh my god, what doing? Where you could tell there, I was really going for, I want to be a rock star.
Right.
Yeah, I want to be a star, and I'm
But
just now it's on.
right.
Where now I just want the world to hear. If I can inspire and help and heal and make people laugh and make people think, that's all I care about. I don't. Matter of fact, I got off the. I did this thing called the Reawaken American
I
tour.
saw
Now,
that. I've been seeing those videos.
well, the last one was just. It was insane. There was, I don't know, the place was packed, and I went up and the material I was doing, it was a little bit of talking, a little bit of material. That crowd gave standing ovations in the middle of some of the things I was saying, where on my normal shows, they'll laugh really hard, but they would laugh and then stand and do this. And I'm like, oh my, and then a lot of them had no clue who I was. And I thought that was even more fun. And then they sit down. And then the last one was in Canton, Ohio. The mic went out. So I ran out. I started talking. Someone said, I can't hear you. So I ran out in the crowd and stood on a chair and finished this last story. And it was, so long story short, the guy that books all that, Clay Clark, I don't know much about this world, and I want to make sure. I love doing it because there's a lot of faith-based.
Of course.
They've never seen me, but now they're like, "Oh, who is this guy?"
Right.
And there's also a lot of people that are like, I'm sure they vote a certain way or they feel a certain way, and I'm with them as far as a lot of their thought process. I have to be very careful not to be categorized.
Right.
Matter of fact, now we're talking about he wants to do with just me and like two other people, like this guy General Flynn. Do I know General Flynn?
Totally.
I mean, I know who General Flynn is, but I
Right.
don't know General Flynn. You know, like I don't. So it's me, General Flynn, and one other guy is now we're narrowing down. We may do
Wow.
the show, and yeah, I'm more curious. You know what I mean?
Of
Like I'm
course.
curious. Like, are you the real deal? Are you guys just selling something? Are you part of the professional wrestling scam, or are you the real deal? And this is really happening. I'm more fascinated by that. But oh, look. So yeah, I was just letting them know. I went, oh, because Clay called me earlier, and he's the one that books these, and he goes, Jim, I gotta say, I've seen all the best what you're doing. I'm not sure I've ever seen this before. He goes, you're talking from the heart and passion, and people are like, whoa, like they're so engulfed and engaged, and you're making them laugh. He goes, this is I think we should start doing really big stuff. And I went, listen, I don't mind doing that. I go, but I need you to know. And he's like, you should be bigger. And I went, listen, I don't mind reaching people. I don't want to be the star. I really don't. I really don't want to be that person. And it's kind of cool. Like I have people driving in the neighborhood or they'll drive by. This is what I get now a lot. I get today a van stopped and he goes, hey pal, I just want to tell you, I really like what you're putting out there. I went, oh wow. He goes, no, I've been watching your videos for about 2 years, and I got to say, I really appreciate what you're doing. It's helped me a lot. It's helped a lot of people. And I just want to let you know you got more support. And wow. Holy, see now but that I like. I don't like, oh my God, we got to take a picture. Hold on, you look at my wife, dude, look what I'm doing. That, like, relax. Just like you. I'm just trying to figure it all out, just like you. I just happen to try to be funny at it. That's all.
We're all humans. We're all humans with needs and desires and souls, most importantly, that need to be expressed. And I appreciate
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
So
cool to see your progression again from the Urban Plaza rockstar days to now the spiritual superhero comedian who's now kind of getting into the General Flynn crowd. It's pretty interesting.
it is really fascinating. And like I said, I've been to 2 of these events, and he was at each one, but I didn't meet him. And there was who did I meet? There was another guy that was there. This last one was like, I know this guy, but a lot of the doctors that are presenters are people that you've seen a million times. Like, oh my God, I know this guy. I've been following this guy, and he gave me so much great information. It's a lot of them. Okay. It's really very passionate, real stuff going on. Yet I sense there is no real. There's no. I could be wrong. I don't sense a dark agenda where when I watch news and politics, and every time Biden talks, no offense if you're a fan of Biden, I always feel there's a dark agenda and hidden secrets. I don't believe or whatever they say, I immediately go, what are they really covering? Because they are the classic, that guy's an asshole. Really, they're the asshole, and they're just covering it, and they're trying to do, that's all they're trying to do. So I'm trying to figure out now what is really going on with Russia and all that chess. What's really going on? Is it that there's money involvement, they're portraying us. Listen, my dad was in World War II, and anyone that says, "Oh, you're not American," you got to take a couple steps back and go, "What's really, really going on?" I don't know. Nobody knows. I saw a video, and I don't know if it's a fact, where a guy in Ontario, what's going on up in Canada, he was showing a video of UN planes.
I saw that too. Yep, I saw that.
Right, and NATO UN planes. Now, everyone knows NATO, New World Order. They are not what everyone thinks they are. They are not peacekeepers. They are part of the New World Order. If you don't know what the New World Order is, then you got your head really far up your sphincter. Everyone knows what New World Order agenda is. And if you don't, I ask you, I mean, they don't hide it. George Bush was very adamant. This is the New World Order. We will prevail. And you saw all these other leaders, even the last year with the riots, you saw all the people in the cities where had riots going, New World Order, New World Order. It's time to start thinking about New World Order, New World Order. And that, I think, we may be part of what this shift is. I don't know. And Putin did say multiple times, now I don't know Putin from a hole in the wall. I don't know what the hell is going on. It's too many. I remember Putin saying, I will not allow the New World Order to infiltrate Russia. And who the hell knows who's going? And at the end of the day, until someone's knocking on my door with a rifle, there's not a lot I can do.
You're a Metallica guy. Isn't Master of Puppets about that?
A lot of it is. That Disposable Heroes is one of the most. That song. Do you know that song?
Yeah, and then even War Pigs, and then Guns N' Roses Civil War. We don't need it feeds the rich and buries the poor.
And so many musicians have put that out there. And I mean, Master of Puppets, the whole thing from beginning to end there's so much war in there. And it's the first time I looked at a poor soldier's life, where I thought of my dad, who's in World War II, or anyone that jumps in a war. And I don't want anyone to feel disrespected. But what I'm saying is so many people must go through this where they go, are we really fighting for the country? Or are we fighting for some really rich dudes that have an interest? Am I killing this person that really has nothing to do with this? And what frightened me more, just like today,
right?
I'm only carrying orders. I can't stand when people say I'm just doing orders. That song, Disposable Heroes, I highly suggest, whether you like Metallica or not, Look up the lyrics of Disposable Heroes. It's the most eerie lyrics of a soldier. And I know James Hetfield's father also was a World War II vet, and he didn't get to know him much, but that you will do, when you slow it down, just read it. Can you imagine being a soldier, knowing you're not here for the right reason, knowing you're going to murder someone maybe you shouldn't be here for, and you go, you will do what I say when I say back in the front, and you will die when I say you must die. Back in the front, you coward, you servant, you blind man. Back in the front. 21, only son, how he served us well. Oh, dude. Whoa. So many of those lyrics, for this hill that we kill, why we do not know, dude. They, War Pigs, all that. Priest with rapid fire. Yeah.
Creedence, Fortunate Son. I don't want to be your fortunate, but same thing, same concept.
Yeah. So many. I even think like during the 60s sometimes, if you look at how they just crushed America, not other countries,
right?
We murdered ourselves. Whatever JFK was assassinated, or was he,
right.
for saying there are secret societies in our country trying to take us down. He put it out there. There are secret societies trying to take us down right here in our country, and I'm going to splinter them. And it really, people that don't understand that, it's very real. Where was I going with this? I had what was I saying right before that? Right before the Kennedy thing.
With songs, War Pigs and Civil War and Metallica and Master Puppets.
Yes, darn it. But yes, the whole, I don't know what's going on, but the whole secret society things, I now believe that that's what our news media is. All news media is created by the secret societies, because I always tell people, what is news for? What is it for? To tell you someone got ran over? To tell you someone's going to... It never goes, hi, something beautiful happened today, and we're going to help all lives and souls. All it does is make you go, let's go kill them, or we need to fear this, we need to hate that, we need to think this way about that. It's all it does is stir your emotions. It's never healthy. It's never good for you. It's never inspiring. It's always pure, evil, dark, satanic. And I have to say the word satanic because that's what it is.
It's pretty obvious. Just I'm a health coach professionally, and I listen to my body. If CNN is on, like you said, that's a freaking F word. It's disgusting. I get freaking anxiety when CNN is on. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and I wonder how many people now know that. Meaning, how many people now know everything they put out there is pretty much full-blown lying, right. And they use words for you to implement, and they know that. Like they'll say, I love this word. They love saying democracy. They love saying this is a threat to democracy across the. This is democracy. Like democracy is an amazing thing. We're not a democracy. I don't know who thinks America is a democracy. We're not. A democracy is when the majority, if a herd of elephants is walking along the field, and then a couple turn and start in the animal instinct kingdom, if more than half the herd goes, you know what? I think we should go this way. I don't trust that way. That's the majority. This whole concept that democracy is this big, it ain't. It's a full blown lie. And I've said that for years and years and years. That's just a word to make you think like, yeah, it's a threat to democracy. This is a threat to democracy. You don't have a democracy here, dummies. Is it? Even the voting system, it's not a democracy. What are you talking about? It's weird, but those are the brilliant, the wizard words that just play in the hand. But don't you feel there's so many people now really aware of all this?
Absolutely. I completely, absolutely. And it's so cool to see, again, like I said, the transition of you, not just you going from that to like being the aware person you are. Now it can be potentially touring with, General Flynn, spreading the word. And everyone I talk to in all capacities, there's like, shit is up. Stuff is going down that we didn't know about before, but now it's just being so freaking obvious after the past 2 years, almost to the day or so. So it's just so obvious.
It's so obvious. I remember when I was doing stand up this last year and a half, and I feel that what I'm talking about is so obvious.
Of
That's
course.
just how I feel. I don't know if it's a fact, but because I don't follow news and I don't follow science, I'll follow science that's not paid for. Science that has no agenda, sure, it makes sense. Science that's paid to sell your product, how do you not separate common sense from that? Like if Jim Brewer has a company and Jim Brewer is now selling a drink,
Right.
and I'm going to hire scientists to come up with numbers to make my drink look amazing. And I pay them. That's what I tell people. I go, do you think scientists, when they go, follow the science, trust the science, do you think the numbers they're using and the scientists they're using are honest science going, hey, listen, we don't work for anyone and we don't even really get paid, but here's the honest numbers. You've got to be out of you're not thinking consciously if you truly believe that. However, I do think we're at a time in life where it is the Paul Revere days. Paul Revere ran up and down saying the British is coming. And you had a lot of people going, you don't know, you're a conspiracy to go back to bed. Meanwhile, you could see the ships and they're like, oh man, they're wearing the hats and everything. They're serious. They got the coats and this is real. You can only wake up who you can wake. I heard something very interesting today. You know the term red pilled?
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Of course you do. For those you don't know, red pill, just like in the Matrix, red pill is basically, I'm going to show you the truth. And all you're going to get out of it is the truth. There's no trophies. There's no change. You now know the truth.
Right.
Or you're blue pilled. How many people have you met that have said, oh, I've been red pilled? Probably whatever that is. I know a lot of people that says, Jeff, I didn't understand what you were saying, but I got red pilled. Okay. Nobody says, I got blue pilled.
I'm enjoying these high gas prices. I fucking love paying $2
I
more.
love that word chaos. I love that everyone's scared to death. I love that gas prices are through the roof. I love that we have a shortage in everything. I love that inflation's going through the roof. I love we can't get supplies. This is amazing. Hey, we're going to war. This is amazing. God bless. Okay. All right. But who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Wherever. We'll see where it goes.
I do remember you telling the story. You were at a party with some big pharmaceutical exec in like Chester. They're promoting a TV show or something, and one of them was talking about how, oh yeah, diet soda, it does cause issues, but it makes a lot of fucking money.
He basically said, twice this has happened. I sat with two different people. One was my neighbor.
Okay.
Who works for a vaccine company.
Okay.
And he said, the good outweighs the bad. Now, what people need to know when they say the good outweighs the bad, two things. You are dehumanizing the soul and people when you say that, because you wouldn't say that if your child, your wife, your father, your sister, the one you love, your dog was the one that dies or can never walk again or has brain damage. You'd be real hesitant to go, well, the good outweighs the bad. What that means is money. The good profit outweighs the bad. Some people are gonna die. But the good is not the good for humanity. They're referring to the voodoo trick. The good outweighs the bad. The good outweighs the bad. What that really means is the good means they're gonna make a lot of money, which is the root to all evil. And some people go, well, actually, no, it's not. It's the love of money. No. Any evil, you can always trace it back to money, power, etc., etc. So it pisses me off with the highest vengeance when they go, the good outweighs the bad. What a selfish, destructive, non-thoughtful, careless statement to make towards humanity. The good outweighs the bad. I'm sorry, is your kid autistic? Oh, I'm sorry, is your daughter now paralyzed? Oh, I'm sorry, did your son have a heart attack? The good outweighs the bad. I can't stand when I hear that. I lose all respect for you, because all that means is money over how many people die. The good, we're going to make a lot of money, outweighs the bad. People that screwed up. Blah, blah, blah. That's all that means. So that statement is nothing more than a snot rocket to me. It means nothing. It's gross.
I just cringe at it. I shut down.
It's gross. It's disgusting.
And that goes back to, again, another song is Head Like a Hole, down by 9 Inch Nails. Bow down before the one you serve. You're going to get what you deserve.
Wow, that's a good one too. I love, you know what I love? I heard this Johnny Cash one. Oh, boom, boom. God's going to cut you down. You can tell that midnight liar, you rambler, the gambler. Tell him that God's going to cut him down. Tell him that sooner or later, it's coming for you. You can run as long as you want. When you make that deal, it may take you may get away with it all the way until you're 90. And then you just don't know when he's coming back to get his pay. It's amazing.
I would say we're on the same page with all of this from different capacities, obviously. And I work, like I said, I work in the wellness fields. And in the past 2 years, you barely, other than, Dr. Malone and the other doctors of that nature that you've been speaking about, you never hear of vitamin D. It's go out in the sun, get some nature, get some free vitamin D from the sun. You don't hear about vitamin C. You don't hear about those aspects, or stress management, or touch, like you've been saying. Stay away from grandma. You're gonna hurt grandma in a sense.
Well, I just talked about this yesterday on the Brunerverse, which is on Patreon today.
Right.
Comes out YouTube on Friday. it's when you're not emotionally attached. And I beg people, Jimmy Shaka said something to me really amazing years ago. You know how people fast? They go, you should fast with eating, you should fast with drinking. People should fast with screens. No media, no television, no movies, fast. It's nothing. The first thing you'll realize is how addicted you are. You're going to find yourself going, let me just check one little thing. You're addicted. That's no different than hair. Maybe just one little, if I get one headline, oh God, that really helps my emotions and how I feel, and I can debate with someone now. If you can fast in all mind infiltration, it is so easy. It becomes easier to see what's really, what agendas are. There's so many agendas. There's a billion agendas, and it's just nonstop thrown in you. And the more you walk away, and that's what I hope people do. I hope they start fasting with all of it, because then they'll realize our common sense tells you everything. And although others fear it and they don't want you, that's why we go to school. The reason you're thrown into school is because you're made to follow orders. That's what you will do, what I say, when I say, sit your ass down. You will do what I say when I say, study for the test. So the people that follow the rules, we're supposed to wear the mask, and we got to let down, and then that person is not following the rules, so I'm going to report them. That's from school. Right. You've been brainwashed, you've been programmed from there on. And the more you could detach all the emotions for whatever politics you're into, whatever you feel is going, the more you detach, it's so much easier to see life. But it does become a little scarier place, because not many people are there. Not many people are there. And when you get that heightened awareness, it intimidates people. Some people think you're weird. Some people think you're a freak. That's okay. But back to what you were saying, common sense would tell you the minute this happened, what did they do? Scared you to death and made you run inside. Now, what are you going to do when you're inside? You're going to watch TV. You're going to watch movies. You're going to watch social media. They were locked and loaded, so well planned. They dumbed you down even more. The minute that hit, you heard people going, "Have you seen the Tiger King?" It's just one dumb show after another, and that kept everyone away from what's really going on here. I mean, it's just not once did they say, everyone, listen, avoid sugar. Right. Avoid sugar at all costs. Sugar is the worst thing that you could put in your body, number one. Number two, start eating some fruits and vegetables, and do yourselves a favor, walk outside. But what did they do? They made you go inside. That's evil. That's demonic. That is not science. That is an agenda that was well planned. That's satanic, demonic. It's evil. And everyone that did it, I'm sorry, should be paid accounted for. They should be held accountable. Not one said, take care of your body. Try not to stress too much. Help one another. Exercise. Take walks outside. None of them. People were surfing, and they're resting them on the beach.
Seriously.
How do you not see the common sense of how evil this new world order or whatever it is going on. So
And they were just following orders.
they just follow. You will do
Right.
what I say when I say, put on your mask. You will do what I say when I say, get the booster shot. You will do what I say. Trust the science. Like, oh my God. It's yeah. But anyway, I feel like we're getting more of a heightened awareness, more people learning and all that. But it is a lonely place once you get there because a lot of people aren't there. So like I have a guy texting me right now. He's so not there. He is full blown, Jim, you're such a conspiracy guy. And this is I've had people say, I wish you would take this seriously. And I would tell them, I wish you would take what I say seriously because you don't even take a moment to think about it. I've taken many moments. I've taken hours to try to wrap my head around what you're trying to tell me is facts and science. It makes zero sense. Zero. I've seen people get sick. I've seen with my own personal eyes and my own personal experience, people that have been, sorry, malpractice. Malpractice. Nobody questions. Maybe, you know what, they kind of knew that putting the thing on their face was killing them, but they just kept doing it. Now, whether those people doing it had bad intentions, that's a whole different story. But they were taking orders. You will do what we say or else. You know, it's a joke. It's weird. And now it's, you know, I'm doing gigs now where they just lifted all mandates. The mandates were all the way until last week. And now all of a sudden they're like, yeah, forget the vax card. We're lifting it. But you just fired. What about all the people you fired? Yeah, well, yeah, you know, science changed.
Right.
Okay.
2 years
All right.
to the day.
Yeah.
2
Okay.
years to the day or so.
Sure. All right. It changed. But here we are. The world's, and that's why you got to stay focused. You have to stay. You have to stay. If you have morals, it helps. If you have faith, it really helps. If you have spirituality, it really helps. But you have to take these times and you have to meditate. You have to think deeper. You have to let your emotions make you cry, make you get angry, make you wonder, and make you do the things that you should be doing to lift someone up. There's no better feeling than I'm going to lift this person up. I'm going to make this person feel spiritually better or happier or whatever. And that is the phase where I think it's our duty, me, you, and all of us, instead of complaining and going, this is going on. I think we're past that. I think we're just about past it. What we all need to do now is just keep lifting each other up. Hey man, you okay? Listen, focus right here. Go outside. Let's help this one. You gotta stay on that path. And that's the only thing I think that will bond humanity.
It's this simple thing. It's like, so send a smile and show that you care. Again, hold the door for someone. Ask them how you're doing. It's going to make so much of an impact than spreading hate and hatred and all that crap that we see elsewhere. I really believe there's simple things, like you're saying, do something nice for someone. It could make their day.
I ride my bike every day and I say hello to everyone. Awesome. And I don't care if they say hello or not. And then once in a while, I can tell they want to engage in conversation. And I love speaking with older people. They're freaking adorable. They have tons of history. Some of them, some of them complain, some of them whatever. But I love listening to pretty much anyone and everyone. I love getting information, especially when it's good and I can carry it on and bring it to someone else. It's I think we're all capable of it. So
where do you find hope? And again, you said some spirituality, and I remember hearing you do meditations like Indian music or something.
Yes, I do Indian flute music and I talk to God nonstop. This is exactly what I do. I do this
Okay,
before shows and I do it every day. I go outside. If I can't go outside, every day I say, I go, God, let me feel what you want me to feel today. And let me say what you want me to say today. And let my body just be a vessel to allow your energy to your magic, majesty, not magic, your grace, your inspiration, your love. Let me just get out of the way and let me just be that vessel, however comes out of my mouth. And that's why it's really, that's the only thing that keeps me going. And we have to understand, like I lost someone this week, a very close friend. It was very tragic. My wife's still dealing with it. I've lost my sister, brother. When you have a sense of not asking why did we don't know why. We don't know why. And instead of concentrating on all the whys, concentrate on what's left and how do we make this better and heal, and what are we learning from all this? I do believe there is a higher purpose, and I do believe that, and I would think about this all the time, from the beginning of time, humans have always had a deeper feeling of spirituality, consciousness, soul, and all that jazz. And then what the demons do, which they're doing today, they create the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church, and all these churches are formed and religions because now they become the gatekeeper. And not only have they infiltrated through sodomy and engaging in all these horrific things, it also blocks you from just going, why do I need you? I was sitting there I went to and nothing against Catholic Church. I know a lot of people, you need church and faith and all that. And I'm all for it if it makes you better. But I do feel so much of humanity was purposely pushed away from faith because they know once people tap into that, once you tap into the spirit of everything has a conscious, everything has a thought process, everything, we're all here for some reason. And I do believe at one point in our existence, we knew that, we felt it, we knew how to work with everything. We understood everything. And someone had to block that so we can be controlled. And the minute more and more people get that heightened awareness of beauty and spirituality and just letting things be the way they are and allowing that flow to go, the better off it would be. And I do think it's starting to, I see it more and more, more and more people now approaching me, because that's another thing. When your light gets bigger, it attracts more light.
right.
So more people like, I see your light's a little different lately. And they come, and I can tell you this. The way I've been talking the last 2-3 years, especially when COVID hit, and I started putting out godly and spirituality.
I love it. It's awesome.
The more I put that out, the overwhelming majority was, wow, thank you. I needed this. I feel so much better. I can handle this. I see clearer. No one really said, shut up, asshole. You don't know what you're talking. Oh, yeah, okay, God. more and more and more and more people were enhanced. Now, can you imagine if media did that? Can you imagine if television shows did that? Can you imagine if your magazines, your newspapers did that? They won't, because they are driven by a demonic, evil human beings. Period. Period. I don't know what else to tell you.
That and money, but both.
Which money is the root. Money, power, ego, vanity, me, self-righteousness. I am the God. I am The Rock. I am LeBron. I am Taylor Swift. I am. Like, just, no, you're not. You're really not. You're just an entertainer that was lifted by the Roman Empire for all the minions to go, ah! And then once they get you to that level, they now know you have a certain amount of following, and then they control, hey, you should really tweet out. Can you believe it? Yeah, you're right. And they're just, and you get all, they're like, hey, well, Katy Perry said this, and Taylor Swift said that, and LeBron said this, and maybe we should. It's just, oh my God, Lady Gaga and The Rock. And listen, no offense to all them, they're talented, blah, blah, blah. But they're not someone you should be taking serious advice from. Not saying I should either. I'll put myself in there too. Mine comes from somewhere else, and I try to deliver the message.
Where do you see your role as far as being Jim Brewer, Gold Boy, and rock and roll star from the 2000s, and now a spiritual warrior, being now connected to the General Flynn crowd, which is amazing. I think it's great. But where do you see your role in all this? And not from an ego perspective, but just from an overall perspective. You're in a pretty cool position.
To be dead honest with you, I walk into all this very cautiously.
It makes sense.
And what I mean by that is, my whole life, I've never joined the group. In high school, I hung out with the metalheads, the jocks, the nerds, the theater cools, all the different groups. I would go from one to the other, because I insisted I would never just join, because there's just like all of us, there's too much of all of us. Why am I going to limit myself to just this? So although the Flynn crowd is they're very open from what I've experienced. They're very passionate. So are all my other crowds. I have a metal crowd, comedy crowd. I have old SNLers, stoners. I have the spiritual. I have people of faith. I have all these different patriots. I hear patriot a lot lately. I have conservative. I have I don't know if I have liberals. Maybe, I don't know. My goal is that if I can help anyone in this group, I went on Tucker when I first said, I'm not playing venues that force people to get vaxxed. I had no clue. I had zero clue it would have a result like that. No clue. I remember my agent calling a couple of days later. He's like, and he's completely opposite. I can honestly say he was either annoyed, pissed, or he's just not feeling what I put out there. And he goes, yeah, this is viral. He said, what does that mean? He goes, it's going to be in the news. I went, no. And it was all over the place. And all these people reached out. And I didn't even know, I got to be honest with you, I have no clue what happened. I have zero. I had other people going, dude, you hear what so-and-so is saying about you on CNBC? I went, No, because I don't watch, so therefore I don't care, and they can't infiltrate my emotions. So who cares? Um, and seriously, am I worried about a crowd that somebody watches CNBC? If you're still watching CNBC, see any news, we're most likely not going to be hanging out. I'm going to be dead honest with you. Your conversation with me is going to last 3 minutes. I know exactly where your head's at. I'm like, okay, all right, well, it's good talking to you. I know you can't go to a deeper level, but that's just me. And that was kind of judgy, but I'm just being honest. And when I went on Tucker, first of all, I didn't know he was that big. And the only reason I went on him was the person that booked it lived in the town next to me in New Jersey. I call her a kid, but she was like very adamant. Tucker would love this, blah, blah, blah. I was in the next town. I used to see you at Maria's coffee shop, Chester, blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling you, this is really cool, blah, blah, blah. And I went, I'm not into politics. She's like, no. He's not even going to put in politics. He just wants you to say what you have to say, and he won't interrupt. Now, my last impression of Tucker was the bow tie on CNN. So I was like, I'm not going to this. And then I went on, and I had, for the most part, an overwhelming amount of new people. And I had about, seriously, 5%, I'm being dead honest, of you asshole, Trump-loving, jerk-off, right-wing, I was a fan of you. But first of all, you're categorizing me. Why would you go on that platform? And I go, well, if I am one that is spreading truth, what I think is truth or spirituality, would I not go into a gym, a coffee shop, the ghetto, to the highest elite to let everyone hear my message? You're the one that's closed-minded. You listen to the message. Don't worry about what stage I'm standing on telling the message. And if you believe in any type of prophecy, or meaning someone that can give you if you want to say Jesus, didn't matter. He went with everyone, or I don't know much about Mohammed or anyone else, but I'm sure they didn't just stick to one group. They wanted everyone to know, hey man, here's how to heal your heart. Here's how to laugh. Here's some truth. Here's how to get to a higher spirituality of life and faith and a higher existence. Here's where you go. Here's where you should say it. So that's what I let people know. Don't worry about where I'm telling my message. Am I saying you need to be a Republican? Am I saying you need to be a conservative? Am I saying you need to do? No, I'm not. I'm just giving honest opinions of an honest truth of what I've seen and experienced. And if you can't handle that, where I'm saying it, then that is on you. That's on you. So AC/DC sucks if they're playing on Howard Stern. Does AC/DC suck if they play one night on Howard Stern, the next night they're in Tucker? All of a sudden they're assholes?
Right.
Like the foolishness of people to fall into that category game is very dangerous. And I'm praying to God more and more people see how that's done. And I would love to open the world's eyes. I've had this vision, to be honest with you, almost my whole life. And I never knew how to do it. And I feel like it's starting to happen. Not just me, so many others are spreading it. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was always worried about getting killed. I know that sounds horrifying.
Honest.
But yeah, you look at all the, one love, one, darn it, give him cancer. The gun didn't work. I have a dream. There are people that have a secret society in our country. Imagine there's no, they do that on purpose. Don't think for 1 second they don't. That is done as a display. Keep your mouth shut. You will do what I say when I say back in the front.
I love your love and light messages. You've been at the end of your Facebook Live videos and Instagram videos, you're always spreading the importance of love and light, laughter, love, light, laugh, love, light, and laughter. I think it's so cool. I think it's amazing because you do have the platform, and it's just so cool to see that. Oh yeah, this is Jim Brewer again, this spiritual warrior.
Yeah, and you know what? For the longest time, like I said, I actually feared doing that for some reason. And I truly believe that's what this society has trained us to do, to fear that. Don't speak about that. It's weird. But I've noticed so many people need it. I have what people call testimonies, or people have named it testimonies, where I just take blatant, honest stories, and they're so meaningful. And I've noticed so many people are moved by them, and so many people go, "Wow, I know how to answer what you said. This is what I'm really thriving for right now. There is this, I don't know what to call it. I start calling it funny how God works or whatever. However, but I hate saying the word. I don't hate saying the word God. The word God, people instantly like then whatever they're God, church, whatever. It's been tainted. It's been tainted. So I like telling these stories that have happened in my life, and I would love to tour them. But there's so many. And I feel people really, really need to hear them. And you actually just inspired me. Something tells me maybe this week I'll do another live one, and I'll tell one of those stories. I like telling them here in Patreon and blah, blah, but I also feel like so many people should hear it. So many. So maybe I'll do that this week, because it does help people. It's very needed right now. We need it more than anything else right now.
We need hope, like you just said. We need hope in some capacity. The testimonies, the stories you have to say. With all the freaking noise in the world on social media and CNN and everything, I think a sliver of hope can make a big difference.
It really does. And I would say just take a little pebble and you throw it in the pond. Watch how far those ripples go.
Love bomb.
That's love bomb. Inspiration bomb. Inspiration. Love Scud missiles. They go so much further than people realize. And that's another thing where I realized there's so many parts of humanity that are being destroyed by these demons. Like pornography. Pornography, I believe, was purposely, which I believe is pretty much legal rape. It is purposely put in your life to get you A, addicted, and B, dehumanize how you feel as two souls that are attracted to one another, that create this beauty, this spirit, this love. Instead, it creates pull a hair and choke them and tie them up. That's pure evil and that's all that was. And I would see this through time, just sitting there going, these evil monsters just don't let up. They don't let up. They're going to drug your children. They're going to promote sodomy. Listen, if you're gay, you're gay. But to promote like it's the most amazing thing in the world, is that I don't know, is that a good thing when you have an entire, like, it's just, there's so many things that are promoted that are not thought about overall. And again, like I said, if you're gay, that's what you are. But I don't to sit there and promote so many things that are to promote anything but love and joy and inspiration. I really think people have to start really jumping on that bandwagon.
Again, like
And not worry about your sexuality, and not worry about whether you're an if, what, then, who, what. Not worry about a conservative, I'm this, I'm that. Stop categorizing yourself. Just be yourself, and don't categorize yourself. Let just be yourself.
it's the simple things, like we said, like spread love, light, laughter, kindness, and so forth. It's gonna make such a big freaking difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not a hard concept.
No, I think I went way off. Did you? Do you? I don't even know what. I think you just mentioned like two things, and we just went off. Do you have other stuff there too, or no?
I actually, the questions were actually kind of integrated into the whole conversation. Is
Good.
your, how what your impact would like to be, and you mentioned the importance of being connected to a higher power and spirit throughout your life. You
Yes.
touched it.
Yes.
It's on the
Yes.
surface.
Yes.
And that's important.
It is. It's the most important thing. And even if you don't understand, it's not for you to understand. You know, like if someone's struggling with anything, now some people can't be helped because they don't want to help themselves or they don't want to help themselves. And you got to understand too, you can only do so much. You can only do so much. I've had tons of those in my life as well. And you get in those who can't take it, you got to understand, go somewhere else where your love and inspiration is appreciated or it is used because it's valuable. Don't underestimate your value to enhance another human. And I love the saying, one person can change the world for the better as long as they just don't give a damn who takes the credit. That's the pure essence of giving. That is the pure essence of giving. If you got to say, well, one for me, blah, 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 then you're not in it for the pure reason. Your job is, if you touched another life and it was because of you, or you think it's because of you, your job is just to sit there and admire, like, wow, this works. This works. And nothing is owed to you. I've had people in my house nonstop that we try to help out, my wife and I, family, all this jazz and nothing feels better than to watch them prosper and just go on. But I learned at a very young age, once you're in tune with spirit and God, blah, 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 you realize they may never, they may, like a parent, they leave and one parent's like, they never call. How come they never, after all we did? If that's where your thought process is, you're defeating the purpose. It's better like, they're not calling because they're happy and they're on their journey. If you would like to hear from them, you reach out to them. Hey man, I'm thinking of you. I haven't seen you in a while and I just miss you. And I'm just saying I love you. Rather than like, you don't call me and I this, and you don't even reach out. I did this. You know how much I do for you? You're already in it and you're already causing the wrong emotions. If that's how you feel, if you get to that stage in life where you're able to just sit back and go, God, let's freaking look at you. Good for you. And cheer someone else on and not expect anything back. That's what I'm hoping to accomplish.
You're doing it from the goodness of your heart more than the ego for your personal gain, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think, again, this is like, so that the simple things can be so important.
Absolutely.
Life.
Absolutely. So before we wrap this up, you got any more?
Good question. Yeah, it's I don't know how long ago, just when you want to go over this, but just a simple thing. The past 2 years have been crazy, and that's putting it lightly. And even throughout your career, how have you handled, stress and staying mentally strong?
Again, the last 2 years, what COVID did for me was force me to go deep into God and spirituality. And how I do that, I am outside all the time. I lose my mind if I'm indoors. And when I go outside, I sit. There's times where I just sit. I'll just sit. Someone taught me the three S's: sit, be still, and be silent. Sit, be still, and be silent. And you will be shocked the emotions and the trance you go in. That's when you start to, a bird, you don't realize the backdrops of a bird, they become their own music and your mind takes off for it. It was the way the trees are moving and the wind and the tree and the birds are now, now the way the wind is blowing a certain way, you now start transforming into thoughts and emotions. And sometimes that's how I've healed people that I've lost, where I'll sit there and you'll feel it and you'll sob and then you'll get healed and you'll feel better. That has been the essence of the most, that is exactly what has pretty much been my life heavily the last 2-3 years. And I stand by it. I know I have truth. I know I have my morals. I'm not saying I'm self-righteous or better than anyone. I'm just in a place where I'm very confident where it's at. And I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. And that's also another place. You have to be humble and just know, you know what? I was off on that one. My apologies. I have no problem admitting that. That is another place to be. And I think that's all part of but you got to get outside. You got to, I always go, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to feel? What do you want me to think? And I sit and it's mind boggling. It'll just sit still, be silent. And while that's happening, I'll get the thoughts of, hey man, you've been so busy, you haven't thought of your youngest daughter. Now, did you ever think about where she's at in life? She's X amount of years old. What was your life at that age? Wow, what emotions were, wow, now what music is she, why do you think she listens to that music? And that it'll start, and then you go, you know what, you should let her know X, Y, Z. Now, where's your oldest one at in life right now? When she reaches out in conversation, do you think they're just saying hello, or do you think she's trying to tell you something? And that, it just happens. When you're sitting still and you're not on the phone, you're not I'm not power walking, and I'm not on my bike. I'm just walking, sitting, being still on a bench. I love just doing that. Is when the answers come for me, and they're freaking amazing. They're almost comical how easy it is. And I'm also learning, like Star Wars, the Force. If I sit there and really, really think of you, or really think of something happening, that person eventually calls within like 24 hours. And it just happened to me yesterday. I really wanted to connect with this person I haven't talked to in a long time. And it's like, wow, George, I gotta reach out to George. Like, we gotta talk about this is going on. Matter of fact, George was in Ukraine 20 years ago, and he was telling me about this. That's the thing, and I wonder where he's at in life. And then yesterday morning, George, out of the blue, haven't heard from him in years, bling, dude, where are you? I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I had one where this is all, it's a very short, but it's part of I had this drive to talk to someone. A dear friend of mine was killed in a car crash years and years ago, and her brother really got an ass whooping. He just emotionally got his ass kicked and went through a lot of trouble. I had closure for him. It came to me where I went, oh my God, I got closure for him. I have the last hours of his sister that might heal him. So I didn't know how to contact him. He last lived in Florida, and I was in Florida, and I told my wife I was going down for a whole different thing. And I went, I'm going to look for Sean because I feel like I have to talk to him. I think I keep feeling I have to talk to him and I can help him. He's in trouble. And she goes, well, pray about it. I went, yeah. So I go down to Florida. I go to his house. He doesn't live there anymore. I asked some people. They don't know how to contact him. I go to my flight. It's early to go back home to New Jersey. And I have like 2 hours of my flight. So I go outside and I pray. I go, God, I know I need to talk to, I know you want me to talk to Sean. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm just going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. It's going to happen. But I know you want me to give him this information, and I'm just going to trust you. I hope my kids are dying if I'm lying. I'm not even on my life. I went back in that airport, Tampa Airport. In Tampa Airport, you got to get on a tram that goes to the gates. I go past the little security guy. I'm walking to get on the tram, and I hear Jim Breuer. And I turn, it was a fat dude. So I was like, the last time I saw Sean, he was a little guy. And I went, hey, how you doing? Yeah. He goes, Jim. I go, heading to Jersey, man. I can't go back to it. I thought it was like a fan. Because Breuer, it's Sean.
My God.
I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Like I'm already free. And I just looked at him and I started walking towards him and went, Sean. He goes, yeah, man, what are you doing? I went, you have no clue of the moment that led up to right here. Like it freaked me out, but not in a weird way. I'm starting to realize we could potentially do this. And I'm not saying everyone, but it happens to me so much. And I went, I need to talk to you. He goes, well, I got to catch a thing. He goes, I said, where are you coming from? He goes, I was in Boston visiting my father. And I just came here to visit my mom. And as I was getting off the little train thing, I'm like, holy crow, there's Breuer. What is he doing here? And I'm like, all right, take my number. We got to contact each other. So I went. I flew back down 2 months later. I got to tell him a story. He sobbed, and he said, "You have no clue how healing this was." And I went, I do, because it's just been a calling. Every time I sit, be still and silent, this kept coming. So I knew, and I'm so happy for you now. We're all capable of that, whatever that is. But, start off by fasting, sit still, be silent, no media, no infiltration of the mind. Just pure nature outside. This was a lot of fun. I really thank you very much for making me gab like this.
I appreciate it. And thank you for what you're doing for the world and America, obviously.
And I appreciate you more than you know. You really, really have no clue, because people like you and so many others, sometimes on your position, you think, who am I? And this is what I explain to people. You speak to me, and then you make me think, you make me feel, and then I project it. And for all you know, someone's touched in it that we never met. Someone's life has changed that we never met in another country, in another land, somewhere else in the worst period of their life, something that came out of my mouth. But technically, it came from you. So that's why I tell people never underestimate your passion, your drive, and your inspiration. It's just as long as you don't give a damn and gets the credit, and don't worry about getting the credit, and we can change the world for the better.